What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is secretly planning tonight's dream episode? And what if I revealed that the bizarre, impossible scenarios you experience every night aren't random chaos, but actually your brain's most sophisticated survival mechanism, one that's been keeping humans alive for over 300,000 years? Here's something that will absolutely blow your mind. Last night, while you thought you were resting, your brain consumed more energy than when you solved your hardest math problem yesterday. It was busy creating an alternate reality, so vivid that for hours, you completely believed you could fly, talk to your dead grandmother, or survive a zombie apocalypse. But here's the shocking truth that neuroscientists discovered only in the last decade. Your dreams aren't happening to you. You're not a passive observer watching some neurological movie. You are the director, screenwriter, actor, and entire production crew. Your sleeping brain is literally creating reality from nothing, and it's doing this with such precision that it can predict your future decisions better than your conscious mind can. Dr. Matthew Walker from UC Berkeley proved in 2017 that people who remember their dreams are actually 23% better at solving creative problems the next day. But that's just the beginning. The real mind bender is this: your dreams are essentially time machines, allowing your brain to rehearse every possible future scenario so you're prepared for anything reality throws at you. If this already has your mind spinning, smash that like button, because we're about to dive into the most incredible journey through your sleeping mind. And tell me in the comments, what country are you watching from? And what time is it right now? I'm curious to know when around the world people are thinking about their dreams. Don't forget to subscribe, because by the end of this video, you'll never think about sleep the same way again. You'll understand why your brain chooses to show you certain dreams, why some dreams feel more real than reality itself, and most importantly, how you can actually influence what you dream about tonight. Let's start with something that seems simple, but will completely reshape how you think about consciousness itself. Every single night, without fail, your brain performs what I call the Great Shutdown. But here's what's absolutely fascinating. It's not actually shutting down at all. Think of it like this. Imagine you're running a massive city with millions of inhabitants, countless systems, and infinite complexity. Every night, instead of turning off the power, you actually redirect all the energy inward to run the most sophisticated simulation software ever created. That's exactly what your brain does during REM sleep. In 1953, Eugene Azarinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman made a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew about sleep. Using primitive EEG machines, they noticed that sleeping people's eyes were moving rapidly under their eyelids, and their brain activity looked almost identical to when they were awake. They had discovered REM sleep, and with it, the biological foundation of dreaming. But here's where it gets weird. During REM sleep, your brain is actually more active than when you're awake. Dr. Giulio Tononi from the University of Wisconsin proved in 2019 that dreaming brains use 23% more glucose than waking brains. Your sleeping brain is working harder than your conscious brain ever does. Now, here's a fact that will make you question everything. You don't just dream during REM sleep. You're actually dreaming all night long. The difference is that REM dreams are like high-definition movies, while non-REM dreams are more like abstract thoughts or emotions. But your brain never stops creating narrative experiences. Here's what will blow your mind. According to research by Dr. Aaron Walmsley at Furman University, the average person spends about 6 years of their life dreaming. That's 6 full years living in alternate realities that feel completely real while you're experiencing them. You've literally lived multiple lifetimes in worlds that exist only in your mind. But why does your brain work so incredibly hard to create these experiences? The answer is going to challenge everything you think you know about reality, consciousness, and what it means to be human. And I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with processing the day's events, like most people think. What if I told you that your dreams aren't about remembering, they're about forgetting? And that this forgetting process is actually the most important thing your brain does to keep you sane. Here's a mind-bending revelation. Every single day, your brain collects approximately 34 gigabytes of sensory information. That's equivalent to watching 8 hours of HD video. Without dreams, your brain would become like a computer with a completely full hard drive within just 3 months. Dr. Georgi Basaki from New York University made a discovery in 2020 that revolutionized our understanding of memory and dreams. He found that during REM sleep, your brain doesn't just store important memories, it actively deletes unnecessary information. Dreams are literally your brain's way of deciding what version of yourself to keep and what to throw away. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a sculptor working with a massive block of marble. You don't create a statue by adding more marble. You create it by removing everything that doesn't belong. Your dreams are your brain's chisel, carving away irrelevant experiences to reveal the essential you. But here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. Your brain doesn't delete memories randomly. It uses a sophisticated algorithm that would make Google's search algorithm look primitive. Dr. Karim Nader from McGill University discovered that your brain prioritizes emotional memories, survival-relevant information, and experiences that fit your existing worldview. This means that your dreams are literally editing your life story every single night. They're deciding which version of yesterday's events becomes part of your permanent identity, and which parts get filed away as irrelevant, background noise. Here's a revelation that might disturb you. The you that wakes up each morning is slightly different from the you that went to sleep. Your dreams have literally rewritten parts of your personality, your beliefs, and your understanding of reality. You're not the same person you were yesterday, and dreams are the reason why. But wait, it gets even more mind-blowing. Dr. Lynn Nadel's research at the University of Arizona showed that your brain doesn't just edit recent memories during dreams. It actually reaches back months, even years, to modify old memories based on new information. Your dreams are constantly rewriting your entire life history. This is why sometimes you'll suddenly remember something differently than you did before, or why certain childhood memories seem to change over time. Your dreams have been editing your past to make sense of your present reality. Here's what this means for your daily life. Every problem you've been struggling with, every relationship challenge, every creative project, your dreaming brain has been working on these issues without your conscious mind even knowing it. The solutions often appear in your dreams before your waking mind figures them out. And here's a practical revelation. The reason you sometimes wake up with sudden insights or clarity about complex problems isn't because you slept on it. It's because your dreaming brain spent hours running different scenarios and testing possible solutions. Your dreams are literally your brain's research and development department. But this raises a profound question that leads us to our next revelation. If your dreams are constantly editing your memories and personality, how do you know which of your memories are real and which have been modified by your dreaming brain? The answer is about to challenge your understanding of reality itself. Prepare to have your mind completely blown. There is no meaningful difference between dream reality and waking reality from your brain's perspective. The same neural circuits that create your experience of the real world are the ones creating your dreams. Dr. Rodolfo Linus from New York University School of Medicine made a discovery that shattered our understanding of consciousness itself. Using advanced brain imaging, he found that the thalamus, your brain's sensory relay center, generates the same rhythmic patterns during both waking consciousness and REM dreams. In other words, your brain creates reality the exact same way, whether you're awake or asleep. Here's the mind-bending truth. What you call reality is actually just a very convincing hallucination created by your brain. When you're awake, your brain takes sensory input and creates a coherent narrative about what's happening. When you're dreaming, it does the exact same thing, It just doesn't have external sensory input to work with. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a master storyteller who never stops creating narrative experiences. When you're awake, it has the benefit of sensory data to guide the story. When you're asleep, it has to improvise completely, but it uses the same storytelling mechanisms. This is why dream experiences feel so completely real while you're having them. Your brain is using its full reality generation capabilities to create these experiences. The emotions you feel, the logic you follow, the sensory experiences you have, they're all being generated by the same systems that create your waking experience. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Dr. Christoph Koch's research at the Allen Institute suggests that consciousness itself might be more like dreaming than like our usual understanding of being awake. Your waking consciousness might actually be a controlled dream state that happens to incorporate sensory information. This means that the boundary between sleeping and waking, between dreaming and reality, is far more blurred than you ever imagined. You're not transitioning between two different states of being. You're switching between two different modes of the same fundamental process: reality creation. Here's a revelation that might disturb you. Some of your most vivid memories might actually be dreams that felt so real, your brain cataloged them as actual experiences. Dr. Deirdre Barrett from Harvard Medical School found that people regularly incorporate dream elements into their autobiographical memories without realizing it. This happens because the same brain regions responsible for memory consolidation, the hippocampus and associated structures, are highly active during both memory formation and dreaming. Sometimes the two processes become intertwined in ways that make it impossible to distinguish between lived experience and dreamed experience. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. This isn't a bug in your brain software. It's a feature. Your ability to create vivid, realistic experiences without external input is actually one of your brain's most sophisticated survival mechanisms. Think about it. In dreams, you can safely experience dangerous situations, practice social interactions, and explore possible futures without any real-world consequences. Your brain is essentially running millions of virtual reality simulations to prepare you for any possible scenario you might encounter. Dr. Antti Revonsuo from the University of Turku in Finland developed what's called the threat simulation theory of dreaming. His research shows that over 60% of dream content involves some form of threat or challenge, and people who have more threatening dreams actually perform better in real-world crisis situations. Your dreams are literally training programs for your survival. Every time you successfully escape from a dream monster, navigate a confusing dream landscape, or solve a problem in a dream, you're strengthening neural pathways that help you handle similar challenges in waking life. But this raises an even more profound question. If your brain can create experiences so realistic that they're indistinguishable from reality, and if these experiences actually shape your behavior and capabilities, then what does this say about the nature of reality itself? What does it mean to be conscious, to be real, to be human? What if I told you that your dreams aren't just random experiences, but actually sophisticated time machines that allow your brain to travel into the future and rehearse events that haven't happened yet? And that this time travel capability is so precise that it can predict your behavior better than your conscious mind can. Here's a mind-blowing discovery. Dr. Aaron Walmsley's groundbreaking research at Harvard showed that people who dream about a maze learning task improve their performance by 10 times more than people who don't dream about it. But here's the kicker. The dreams happened before the improved performance. Their brains were literally practicing future scenarios. But it gets even more incredible. Dr. Robert Stickgold's team at Harvard Medical School discovered that the brain doesn't just rehearse recent experiences in dreams, it actually extrapolates from current information to generate likely future scenarios. Your dreaming brain is running predictive simulations based on patterns it has detected in your life. Think of it like this. Your brain is constantly collecting data about your relationships, your work, your habits, and your environment. During dreams, it takes all this information and runs it through sophisticated algorithms to predict what might happen next. Then it creates immersive experiences where you practice handling these predicted futures. This is why you sometimes have dreams about situations that later happen in real life. Not because you're psychic, but because your unconscious mind detected patterns and probabilities that your conscious mind missed. Your dreaming brain is essentially a probability computer running millions of calculations about your future. Here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Dr. Mark Blagrove from Swansea University found that people who remember their dreams make better decisions in complex, uncertain situations. Their dreaming brains have literally given them more practice with ambiguity and unpredictability. But the time travel aspect of dreaming goes even deeper. Dr. Lynn Nadel's research revealed that during dreams, your brain doesn't experience time the way you do when you're awake. Past, present, and future become fluid and interconnected. Your brain freely combines elements from different time periods to create new scenarios and test new possibilities. This is why dream narratives often feel so strange and illogical. From a waking perspective, your brain is operating outside normal temporal constraints. It's mixing memories from childhood with current concerns and future possibilities to create comprehensive training scenarios. Here's a revelation that might change how you think about decision-making. Every major decision you make during the day has actually been rehearsed multiple times in your dreams. Your brain has been running simulations of different choice outcomes and their consequences, preparing you for the moment when you need to make the actual decision. Dr. Matthew Wilson's research at MIT using recording electrodes in rat brains showed something incredible. During sleep, the rats' brains replayed the maze-running patterns they had learned during the day, but they also generated new patterns, routes through the maze they had never actually taken. They were dreaming about alternative paths and possible futures. This same process happens in human brains on a vastly more complex scale. You're not just rehearsing past experiences in your dreams, you're generating alternative timelines, exploring different life paths, and preparing for multiple possible futures simultaneously. But here's the most mind-blowing part. Some dreams actually seem to reach backward in time, influencing past events through your changing interpretation of them. When you dream about past experiences, you're not just remembering them, you're actively recontextualizing them in ways that change their meaning and their impact on your current self. This means your dreams exist in a kind of temporal loop where future possibilities influence current behaviors, which change past interpretations, which generate new future possibilities. You're living in a constant state of time travel, with your dreams serving as the navigation system. And here's something that will make you question the nature of time itself. If your dreams can accurately predict future events by extrapolating from current patterns, and if they can retroactively change the meaning of past events, then what does this say about the linear nature of time? Are past, present, and future as separate as we think they are? The answer is about to challenge everything you believe about causality, free will, and the nature of consciousness itself. Prepare for a revelation that might sound like science fiction, but is supported by cutting-edge neuroscience. Your dreams aren't just private experiences happening inside your individual brain. They're part of a vast, interconnected network that spans all of human consciousness. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's controversial but increasingly supported research suggests that human brains might be connected through what he calls morphic fields, information fields that allow for the sharing of experiences across individuals. While mainstream science was initially skeptical, recent discoveries in quantum biology and consciousness research are providing surprising support for interconnected awareness. Here's something that will blow your mind. Dr. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences conducted controlled experiments where people in isolated chambers had remarkably similar dream content on the same nights, despite having no contact with each other. The statistical probability of these similarities occurring by chance was less than 1 in 10 million. But let's look at this from a more established scientific perspective. Dr. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious has found surprising validation in modern neuroscience. Dr. Antonio Damasio's research at USC shows that human brains share remarkably similar deep structures and processing patterns, which could explain why people across different cultures dream about similar themes, symbols, and scenarios. Think of it like this. All human brains are built from the same evolutionary blueprint. We share the same basic fears, desires, and survival instincts. When our brains are freed from the constraints of sensory input during sleep, they naturally gravitate toward these shared patterns and concerns. This is why certain dream symbols appear across all human cultures. Falling, flying, being chased, losing teeth, being unprepared for an exam. These aren't learned behaviors. They're expressions of shared human neural architecture. Your dreams are tapping into patterns that have been encoded in human consciousness for hundreds of thousands of years. Here's where it gets truly fascinating. Dr. Patrick McNamara from Boston University discovered that dreams often contain information and insights that the dreamer had no conscious access to. People regularly dream about solutions to problems they didn't know they were working on, or receive information about situations they weren't consciously aware of. This suggests that during the dreaming state, your brain might be accessing information through channels that aren't available to your conscious mind. Whether this happens through subtle environmental cues you didn't consciously notice, through the processing of microexpressions and social signals you weren't aware of, or through more mysterious mechanisms, the result is the same. Dreams provide information that transcends individual conscious experience. But here's the most mind-bending part. Dr. Montague Ullman's dream research at Maimonides Medical Center documented cases where people dreamed about events happening to other people in distant locations, with details that were later verified to be accurate. While this research remains controversial, the documented cases suggest that consciousness might not be as individually contained as we assume. Here's a practical example that might have happened to you. Have you ever had a dream about someone you haven't thought about in years, only to unexpectedly encounter that person or receive news about them within days of the dream? This happens far more often than statistical probability would predict, suggesting some form of information sharing that transcends normal sensory channels. Dr. Larry Dossey's research into non-local consciousness provides a framework for understanding how this might work. He suggests that consciousness might not be entirely produced by individual brains, but might be more like a field that individual brains tune into, similar to how radios tune into broadcast signals. This would mean that your dreams aren't just private experiences, but are actually windows into a shared information space that all human consciousness participates in. When you dream, you're not just processing your own experiences, you're connecting with the collective processing of human experience. Here's what this means for your understanding of yourself. You're not an isolated individual consciousness floating alone in the universe. You're part of an interconnected web of awareness that spans all of humanity and possibly beyond. Your dreams are one of the ways you access this larger consciousness network. But this raises profound questions about the nature of individual identity, free will, and personal responsibility. If your dreams are influenced by collective consciousness, and if your decisions are shaped by your dreams, then how much of what you think of as your thoughts and choices are actually your own? The answer involves understanding something even more mind-bending: the role that dreams play in literally rewiring your brain's physical structure every single night. What if I told you that every single night, your dreams literally rebuild your brain from the ground up? That the person who wakes up each morning has a physically different brain structure than the person who went to sleep? We're not talking about subtle changes. We're talking about massive reconstruction projects that would make urban planners jealous. Dr. Giulio Tonani's groundbreaking research at the University of Wisconsin revealed something that challenges everything we thought we knew about brain function. During sleep, your brain doesn't just rest, it undergoes what he calls synaptic homeostasis. This process strengthens important neural connections while weakening or eliminating unnecessary ones. Here's the mind-blowing part. This process is guided by your dreams. The experiences you have in your dreams determine which neural pathways get reinforced and which ones get pruned away. Your dreams are literally sculpting your brain's physical architecture every single night. Think of it like this. Imagine your brain is a city with millions of roads connecting different neighborhoods. Every day, you travel certain routes more than others based on your experiences, thoughts, and behaviors. At night, the city planners, your dreams, review all the traffic patterns and decide which roads to widen, which ones to narrow, and which ones to close entirely. Dr. Marcus Rachel's research at Washington University showed that this reconstruction process is incredibly sophisticated. During sleep, your brain increases the production of cerebrospinal fluid by 60%, which flows through tiny channels between neurons, washing away metabolic waste and damaged proteins. It's like your brain has its own cleaning and repair crew that only works the night shift. But here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. The cleaning and repair process is directly influenced by dream content. Dr. Maiken Nedergaard's team at the University of Rochester discovered that different types of dreams trigger different types of neural maintenance. Emotional dreams strengthen connections in the limbic system, while problem-solving dreams reinforce pathways in the prefrontal cortex. This means that the specific content of your dreams determines how your brain rebuilds itself each night. If you dream about learning a new skill, the neural pathways associated with that skill get reinforced. If you dream about overcoming fears, the neural patterns related to courage and resilience get strengthened. Here's a revelation that will change how you think about personal growth. Every night, you have the opportunity to literally rewire your brain's structure through your dreams. The habits you want to develop, the fears you want to overcome, the skills you want to improve. All of these can be influenced by cultivating specific types of dream experiences. Dr. Erin Walmsley's research showed that people who actively engage with their dream content show accelerated learning and improved problem-solving abilities. They're essentially participating in their own nightly brain reconstruction project, guiding the process toward their desired outcomes. But it gets even more incredible. Dr. Gina Poe's work at UCLA revealed that during REM sleep, your brain releases specific combinations of neurotransmitters that create the optimal chemical environment for neural plasticity. Your dreaming brain is literally bathed in the exact chemical cocktail needed for rapid learning and adaptation. This is why children who are still developing their brain architecture spend much more time in REM sleep than adults. Their brains need more reconstruction time to build the complex neural networks required for adult functioning. But adults retain this reconstruction capability throughout their entire lives. Here's something that might disturb you. If you're not getting adequate dream sleep, your brain can't complete its nightly reconstruction process. This leads to a gradual accumulation of neural junk, damaged proteins, weakened connections, and inefficient pathways. Over time, this can impair cognitive function, emotional regulation, and decision-making ability. But here's the empowering flip side. By understanding how dreams reshape your brain, you can actually influence the reconstruction process. Dr. Deirdre Barrett's research at Harvard showed that people who practiced dream incubation, deliberately focusing on specific problems or goals before sleep, can direct their dreams toward particular types of brain reconstruction. This means you can literally program your brain to rebuild itself in ways that support your goals, overcome your limitations, and enhance your capabilities. Your dreams aren't just random neural static. They're the most sophisticated brain optimization system ever discovered. But this raises a profound question. If your dreams are constantly rebuilding your brain, and if this process can be influenced by your conscious intentions, then what are the limits of human mental plasticity? How much can you actually change yourself through understanding and working with your dreams? Now here's where everything we've discussed becomes intensely personal. The dreams you had last night have literally shaped who you are right now as you watch this video. And tonight's dreams will determine who you become tomorrow. You're not just a passive observer of your life. You're actively designing yourself through your dream experiences. Let me ask you something that might feel uncomfortable. How many of your current beliefs, fears, desires, and capabilities do you think are actually your choices versus the result of how your dreams have been rewiring your brain over the years? The answer might challenge your entire sense of personal identity. Dr. Rosalind Cartwright's landmark research, spanning over 30 years, followed thousands of people through major life transitions. She discovered something remarkable. People whose dreams actively process challenging experiences showed dramatically better psychological adaptation than those whose dreams avoided difficult content. Your dreams literally determine your resilience and growth capacity. Here's what this means for your life right now. Every challenge you're currently facing, relationship issues, career uncertainty, health concerns, financial stress, your dreaming brain has been working on these problems every single night. The insights, emotional processing, and solution generation that happens in your dreams directly influences how you handle these situations during your waking hours. Think about the last major decision you made. Maybe it was choosing a career path, ending or beginning a relationship, or making a significant life change. What you probably didn't realize is that your dreams had been preparing you for that decision for weeks or months beforehand, running simulations of different outcomes and their consequences. Dr. Clara Hill's research at the University of Maryland showed that people who pay attention to their dreams make more authentic life choices, decisions that align better with their deep values and long-term well-being. Their dreams help them access wisdom that their conscious, socially conditioned minds often overlook or suppress. Here's a practical revelation. The recurring dreams you've had throughout your life aren't meaningless repetitions. They're your brain's way of highlighting unresolved issues or undeveloped potentials that are crucial to your growth. Each time the dream recurs, it's offering you another opportunity to process and integrate important life lessons. But here's where it gets really personal. Your dreams don't just reflect who you are. They actively create who you're becoming. Dr. Kelly Bulkeley's research showed that people's personality traits, emotional patterns, and behavioral tendencies shift measurably based on their dream content over time. This means that if you've been having anxiety dreams, you're literally training your brain to be more anxious. If you've been having dreams where you successfully overcome challenges, you're building neural pathways for resilience and confidence. Your dreams are your most powerful tool for personal transformation, if you know how to work with them. Let me share something that might change your perspective on personal growth. Traditional therapy and self-help approaches work primarily with your conscious mind, which controls only about 5% of your mental activity. Dream work, on the other hand, engages with the 95% of your mind that actually drives most of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This is why people often struggle to change ingrained patterns through willpower alone. They're trying to override deep neural programming using only their conscious resources. But when you engage with your dreams, you're working directly with the unconscious systems that create and maintain these patterns. Here's a technique you can try tonight. Before going to sleep, clearly state a specific question or problem you want help with. It could be anything from, how can I improve my relationship with my partner? To, what career direction would fulfill me most? Your dreaming brain will literally work on this problem while you sleep and often provide insights or solutions in your dreams. Dr. Deirdre Barrett documented thousands of cases where people received practical solutions to real-world problems through their dreams. Scientists have discovered molecular structures, artists have conceived masterpieces, and entrepreneurs have developed business ideas, all through dream experiences. But here's the most empowering realization. You're not at the mercy of random dream experiences. You can actively participate in shaping your dream content, and through that, consciously participate in your own neural reconstruction and personal development. The person you are right now is the result of millions of dream experiences that have shaped your brain over your lifetime. And the person you'll become depends largely on how you choose to work with your dreams moving forward. You have more control over your own development than you ever imagined. You just need to learn how to access and direct your most powerful transformation tool, your dreaming mind. What if everything you think you know about consciousness is wrong? What if the distinction between sleeping and waking, between dreaming and reality, between individual minds and collective consciousness, is just an illusion created by the limitations of language and conventional thinking? Dr. Christoph Koch, one of the world's leading consciousness researchers, made a statement in 2021 that shattered conventional neuroscience. Consciousness is not produced by the brain. Consciousness is what the brain does. This seemingly simple rewording has profound implications for understanding dreams and their role in human experience. Here's the mind-bending truth. Your consciousness doesn't turn on when you wake up and turn off when you go to sleep. It's a continuous, dynamic process that simply changes modes. What you call dreaming and what you call being awake are just different configurations of the same fundamental phenomenon: consciousness creating experience. Think of it like this. Your consciousness is like water that can exist as liquid, vapor, or ice. It's the same essential substance, but it takes different forms under different conditions. Waking consciousness is like liquid water, flowing and responsive to external influences. Dream consciousness is like vapor, free-flowing and able to take any shape without the constraints of physical laws. But here's where it gets truly revolutionary. Dr. Giulio Tonini's integrated information theory suggests that consciousness might not be limited to individual brains at all. Instead, consciousness might be a fundamental property of certain types of information processing systems. And this could include networks that span multiple brains. This means that when you dream, you might not just be accessing your own consciousness, you might be tapping into something much larger. Dr. Stuart Hameroff's research into quantum processes in brain microtubules suggests that consciousness might operate through quantum mechanisms that aren't bound by classical physics limitations like space and time. Here's a revelation that will change how you think about your place in the universe. If consciousness is a fundamental property of information systems, and if your dreams connect you to larger information networks, then you're not just an isolated individual experiencing private mental events. You're part of a vast, interconnected consciousness system that spans all of human experience and possibly beyond. Dr. Bernardo Kastrup, a philosopher and consciousness researcher, proposes that what we call individual consciousness might actually be localized expressions of a universal consciousness field. From this perspective, your dreams aren't just personal experiences. They're windows into the fundamental nature of reality itself. This explains why dreams often contain information, insights, and experiences that seem to come from beyond your personal knowledge and experience. You're not just processing your own mental content during dreams. You're accessing deeper levels of consciousness that transcend individual identity. But here's the practical implication that matters for your daily life. If consciousness is fundamental and interconnected, then your dreams aren't just personal experiences that affect only you. They're part of a larger consciousness evolution that influences the entire human species. Every time you work with your dreams to overcome fear, develop compassion, or expand your understanding, you're not just changing yourself. You're contributing to the evolution of human consciousness as a whole. Your personal growth through dream work is literally helping to evolve the entire species. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's research into morphic resonance suggests that when one individual develops new capabilities or insights, These developments make it easier for other individuals to achieve similar growth. Your dream work doesn't just transform you, it makes transformation easier for everyone else. Here's something that might give you chills. The dreams you have tonight could contain insights or solutions that help other people you've never met in ways you'll never directly know about. Through the interconnected nature of consciousness, your personal development contributes to collective human evolution. But this raises profound questions about individual responsibility and the nature of personal identity. If your consciousness is connected to a larger field, if your dreams influence and are influenced by collective human experience, then what does it mean to be an individual? What is the relationship between your personal identity and your universal nature? The answer involves understanding something that ancient wisdom traditions have known for millennia, but that modern science is just beginning to rediscover: the paradoxical nature of individual and universal consciousness. You are simultaneously a unique, individual expression of consciousness and an inseparable part of universal consciousness. Your dreams are the bridge between these two levels of your being. In dreams, you experience yourself as an individual navigating specific scenarios, but you also access wisdom, creativity, and understanding that transcends your personal limitations. Dreams are where your individual consciousness interfaces with universal consciousness. This is why dream experiences often feel both deeply personal and mysteriously transpersonal. They are both. You're experiencing your own individual development while simultaneously participating in the evolution of consciousness itself. And here's the most empowering realization. By understanding and working consciously with your dreams, you become an active participant in the evolution of consciousness, rather than just a passive recipient of whatever experiences happen to arise. You become a conscious collaborator in the most important project happening on Earth: the awakening of human consciousness to its true nature and potential. Now we arrive at the most profound realization of all. The boundary between dreaming and waking life isn't just blurred, it might not exist at all. What if I told you that your entire waking life is actually a very sophisticated lucid dream? And that understanding, this is the key to unlocking capabilities you never knew you had? Dr. Stephen Laberg, the pioneer of lucid dreaming research at Stanford University, made a discovery that changes everything. In lucid dreams, people can perform physical feats, solve complex problems, and have transformative experiences that carry over into waking life with remarkable consistency. The skills, insights, and even physical improvements gained in lucid dreams translate directly into waking reality. But here's the mind-bending part. If experiences in lucid dreams can create real changes in your waking life, and if the same neural mechanisms create both dream and waking experiences, then what's the fundamental difference between the two states? The answer is, there might not be one. Think of it this way. Right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is creating your experience of reality using the same basic processes it uses during dreams. It's taking information, processing it through your existing neural networks, and generating a coherent experience that you interpret as real. The main difference is the source of the information: external senses versus internal generation. Dr. Donald Hoffman's research at UC Irvine provides shocking support for this perspective. His work shows that what you think of as objective reality is actually a user interface created by your brain, similar to the icons on a computer desktop. You're never experiencing reality directly. You're always experiencing your brain's interpretation of reality. This means that waking life and dreaming life are both forms of virtual reality created by your consciousness. The difference is that waking life incorporates external data while dreams operate purely on internal data. But both are fundamentally constructed experiences rather than direct perceptions of objective reality. Here's a practical revelation that will change how you approach every challenge in your life. If both waking and dreaming experiences are created by the same consciousness systems, then the limitations you experience in waking life might be just as malleable as the limitations you can overcome in dreams. Dr. Tadas Stumbers's research at Heidelberg University showed that people who regularly practice lucid dreaming develop what he calls enhanced metacognitive awareness, the ability to recognize when they're operating under limiting assumptions and to consciously choose different responses. They become more flexible and creative in all areas of life. This is because lucid dreaming trains you to recognize that what feels real and fixed might actually be changeable. When you realize you can fly in a dream by simply deciding to fly, you begin to question what other apparent limitations might actually be mental constructs rather than absolute realities. But here's where it gets truly transformative. Dr. Daniel Ehrlicher's studies at the University of Bern demonstrated that people who practice physical skills in lucid dreams show measurable improvement in those skills during waking life. Athletes who practiced their sport in lucid dreams improved their performance as much as those who practiced physically. This suggests that the boundaries between mental and physical, between imagined and real, are far more fluid than conventional thinking assumes. Your consciousness has the ability to create changes that manifest across different states of being. Here's a technique that synthesizes everything we've discussed. Start paying attention to the moments when you're not sure if you're dreaming or awake. These liminal states, when you're falling asleep, waking up, or in deep meditation, are when the boundaries between different modes of consciousness become most permeable. During these states, you can practice what Dr. Laber calls reality bridging, taking insights, capabilities, and experiences from dream consciousness and integrating them into waking consciousness. This is how you begin to live as a unified being, rather than switching between separate dream and wake identities. We've reached a crucial turning point in our journey. Everything you thought you knew about dreams, consciousness, and reality has been systematically dismantled and rebuilt. But here's the question that will determine whether this knowledge transforms your life or just becomes interesting information. Are you ready to start living as the unified, multidimensional being you actually are? Because what comes next will challenge you to integrate these revelations into your daily experience in ways that most people aren't prepared for. We're about to explore how you can actually begin directing your dream experiences, programming your nightly brain reconstruction, and accessing the collective consciousness network we've discussed. But I need to warn you, once you start working consciously with your dreams in the ways I'm about to share, there's no going back to thinking of yourself as just a physical body with a brain that sometimes dreams. You'll begin experiencing yourself as a consciousness that creates reality across multiple dimensions of experience. If you're ready for that level of transformation, then stay with me. If you think you'd prefer to keep your current understanding of reality intact, this might be a good place to pause and reflect on what you've already learned. For those of you ready to take the next step, let's dive into the practical applications that will allow you to become the conscious architect of your own development. Here's where everything we've discussed transforms from fascinating theory into life-changing practice. You're about to learn how to become the conscious architect of your own dream experiences and, through them, the designer of your own neural development and personal evolution. Dr. Stephen LaBerge's research at Stanford University developed systematic techniques for achieving lucid dreaming that work for over 85% of people who practice them consistently. But we're going beyond basic lucid dreaming. We're talking about using your dreams as a sophisticated development laboratory for every aspect of your life. Here's the foundation technique, which I call dream programming. Before sleep, spend 10 minutes clearly visualizing a specific scenario you want to experience or problem you want to solve. Make it vivid and emotionally engaging. Then give yourself a clear intention. Tonight, I will dream about this, and I will remember what I learn. But here's the advanced part that most people miss. Dr. Deirdre Barrett's research showed that the most effective dream programming happens when you connect your specific goal to a deeper emotional need. Don't just ask for a solution to a work problem. Connect it to your deeper need for fulfillment, contribution, or security. Think of it like this. Your dreaming mind responds much better to emotional language than to logical instructions. Instead of saying, "Help me figure out my career," try, "Show me how I can feel most alive and valuable in my work." The emotional resonance creates stronger neural activation during the dreaming process. Here's a technique that will blow your mind. Dr. Tadas Stumbries discovered that you can program multiple dream scenarios for the same night by using what he calls sequential intention setting. You literally give your dreaming mind a sequence of experiences to create like episodes in a TV series. For example, you might program, "First, I want to dream about healing my relationship with my father. Then I want to dream about my creative potential. Finally, I want to dream about my purpose in life." Your brain will often deliver all three experiences in a single night, sometimes weaving them together into a coherent narrative. But here's where it gets truly sophisticated. You can use what Dr. Robert Waggoner calls dream dialogue, actively conversing with dream characters to access different aspects of your unconscious wisdom. When you become lucid in a dream, instead of just flying around, try asking dream figures direct questions about your life challenges. Dr. Claire Johnson's research at the University of Leeds showed that dream figures often provide insights that surprise and benefit the dreamer, offering perspectives that weren't consciously available. You're literally having conversations with different aspects of your own consciousness that have access to information your waking mind doesn't possess. Here's a practical exercise you can try. In your next lucid dream, find a wise figure. It could be an elderly person, a teacher, or even an animal, and ask them, "What do I most need to understand about my current life situation?" The answers often provide breakthrough insights that months of conscious analysis couldn't achieve. But let's go deeper into the brain reconstruction aspect. Dr. Irene Walmsley's research showed that you can actually direct the types of neural changes that occur during sleep by influencing your dream content. If you want to develop more confidence, program dreams where you successfully handle challenging situations. If you want to enhance creativity, program dreams where you're creating, inventing, or problem solving. Here's the key insight. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual experiences when it comes to building neural pathways. The same neurons fire, the same chemical processes occur, and the same structural changes happen. This means you can literally practice any skill, overcome any fear, or develop any capability through directed dream experiences. Dr. Daniel Ehrlicher's sports psychology research provides a perfect example. Athletes who spent 30 minutes before sleep visualizing perfect performance of their sport, then programmed dreams about that performance, showed improvement rates equal to physical practice. They were literally training their bodies through dream experiences. Here's an advanced technique for emotional healing. Program dreams, where you meet younger versions of yourself who are experiencing difficult situations. In the dream, approach these younger selves with all the wisdom and compassion you have now, and provide them with the support and understanding they needed at that time. This creates profound healing of old emotional wounds and literally rewires the neural networks associated with those memories. But here's the most powerful application of all. You can use dreams to access what Carl Jung called the transcendent function. Your consciousness's ability to synthesize opposite or conflicting aspects of yourself into higher order integration. Program dreams where you dialogue with parts of yourself you usually reject or ignore. Your anger, your sadness, your fears, your shadow aspects. When you embrace and integrate these rejected parts through dream work, you literally become more whole as a person. Dr. Jeremy Taylor's research showed that people who work with shadow integration through dreams develop greater emotional intelligence, creativity, and authentic self-expression. Now we're entering territory that will challenge everything you think you know about individual consciousness and its connection to larger fields of awareness. What if your dreams aren't just personal experiences, but are actually connection points to a global consciousness network that spans all of humanity? Dr. Dean Rodden's research at the Institute of Noetic Sciences has documented something that mainstream science is still struggling to understand: statistically significant correlations between individual dream content and global events. During times of collective crisis or celebration, people around the world report similar dream themes and symbols, even when they have no conscious awareness of the events. Here's a mind-bending example. In the weeks leading up to 9/11, dream research centers across multiple countries documented a significant increase in dreams involving planes, falling buildings, and catastrophic events among people who had no conscious knowledge of the planned attacks. The statistical probability of this occurring by chance is essentially zero. But this isn't just about predicting disasters. Dr. Russell Targ's research into remote viewing showed that consciousness can access information across vast distances and even time barriers. When people enter the relaxed, receptive state similar to dreaming, they can often perceive events happening to other people in distant locations. Think of it this way. If consciousness operates through quantum mechanisms, as Dr. Stuart Hameroff suggests, then it might not be constrained by classical physics limitations like space and time. Your dreaming consciousness might be able to access information from what physicist David Bohm called the implicate order, the underlying information field that connects all things. Here's where this becomes practical for your life. You can intentionally use your dreams to access information and insights that aren't available through normal sensory channels. Dr. Montague Olin developed specific techniques for what he called telepathic dreaming, using dreams to receive information from other people or to send healing intentions across distances. The technique is surprisingly simple. Before sleep, focus on a specific person you want to connect with or receive information about. Hold them in your awareness with love and curiosity, then program a dream about them. Many people report receiving accurate information about friends or family members through this process, often learning about situations they had no normal way of knowing about. But here's where it gets even more incredible. Dr. Larry Dossey's research into distant healing showed that people who are prayed for or sent healing intentions during sleep show measurably better recovery rates from illness and injury. The healing effects are real and statistically significant, even when the recipients don't know they're being helped. This suggests that your dreams might be able to influence other people's well-being across any distance. When you dream about sending love, healing, or support to someone, you might actually be providing them with a real benefit through non-local consciousness connections. Here's a practice that thousands of people have found profound. Before sleep, choose someone in your life who is struggling with a challenge: illness, relationship problems, financial stress, emotional difficulties. Spend a few minutes sending them love and visualizing them surrounded by healing light. Then program a dream where you're helping them in whatever way feels most appropriate. Many people report that the person they focused on contacts them within days, often mentioning that they've been feeling better or that they had a breakthrough with their challenge. While science can't fully explain how this works, the documented effects are real and consistent. But the global consciousness connection goes even deeper. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's research into morphic fields suggests that when one person develops new capabilities or insights, these developments become available to all other people through what he calls morphic resonance. Your personal growth through dream work literally makes it easier for other people to achieve similar growth. This means that every time you overcome fear in a dream, develop compassion, or expand your understanding, you're not just helping yourself, you're contributing to the evolution of human consciousness as a whole. Your personal development work is actually collective service to the species. Here's a revolutionary thought. What if the purpose of individual consciousness isn't just personal survival and happiness, but participation in the collective evolution of consciousness itself? What if your dreams are one of the ways that the universe explores its own potential and develops new capacities for awareness and understanding? From this perspective, your dream work becomes a form of cosmic service. Every insight you gain, every fear you overcome, every creative breakthrough you achieve in dreams contributes to the expansion of what's possible for human consciousness as a whole. Dr. Jean Houston's research into human potential suggests that we're living during a time of unprecedented consciousness evolution. The challenges facing humanity, climate change, social inequality, technological disruption, require new levels of wisdom, compassion, and creative problem-solving that can only emerge through expanded consciousness. Your dreams might be one of the primary mechanisms through which this consciousness evolution is occurring. When you work consciously with your dreams, you're not just improving your personal life, you're participating in the most important project happening on Earth, the awakening of human consciousness to its true potential. We've reached the point where theoretical understanding must transform into lived reality. Everything we've explored about dreams, consciousness, and reality is meaningless unless it fundamentally changes how you experience yourself and your life. So here's the challenge. Are you ready to live as the multidimensional, interconnected, reality-creating being you actually are? Because here's the truth that most people aren't ready to face. You can't go back to thinking of yourself as just a physical body that sometimes has interesting dreams. Once you understand that your consciousness creates reality across multiple dimensions of experience, you become responsible for consciously participating in that creation process. Dr. Stanislav Grof's research, spanning over 50 years, showed that people who integrate expanded states of consciousness, including advanced dream work, undergo what he calls spiritual emergency. Their entire worldview, sense of identity, and understanding of reality undergoes fundamental transformation. This process can be challenging, but it's also the gateway to living as your full potential. Here's what this transformation looks like practically. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start recognizing yourself as the creator of your experience. You realize that the patterns in your life, your relationships, your career challenges, your health issues, your financial situation are all expressions of consciousness patterns that you've been unconsciously maintaining. But here's the empowering part. Once you recognize these patterns as consciousness, creations rather than external impositions, you can change them by working with the consciousness systems that create them. And dreams are your most direct access to these systems. Think of it this way. Your waking life is like the visible part of an iceberg, while your dream life represents the massive underwater portion that actually determines the iceberg's movement and direction. Most people try to change their lives by working only with the visible portion, which is why lasting change is so difficult to achieve. But when you work with your dreams, you're working with the foundational consciousness patterns that create your life experience. Changes made at this level naturally manifest as transformations in your waking reality. Dr. Arnold Mindell's research into what he calls dream buddy work showed that physical symptoms, relationship patterns, and life circumstances often first appear symbolically in dreams before manifesting in external reality. By working with these patterns in dreams, you can often prevent problems from manifesting or transform them before they become entrenched in your life. Here's a practical example. If you keep having dreams about being lost or unable to find your way, this often precedes periods of confusion or lack of direction in waking life. But if you become lucid in these dreams and practice finding your way or asking for guidance, you develop the internal resources to handle confusion more effectively when it arises in your waking experience. The same principle applies to all areas of life. Dreams about relationship conflicts can help you develop better communication skills. Dreams about being unprepared can help you build confidence and preparation habits. Dreams about being chased can help you develop courage and the ability to face challenges directly. But here's the advanced level of this work. You can use dreams not just to solve existing problems, but to develop capabilities and experiences that you want to manifest in your life. Want to be more creative? Program dreams where you're creating masterpieces. Want to be more confident? Program dreams where you're successfully handling challenging social situations. Want to develop intuitive abilities? Program dreams where you're receiving accurate information through non-rational means. Dr. Patricia Garfield's research showed that people who consistently work with their dreams in this way report higher levels of life satisfaction, greater sense of personal agency, and more frequent synchronistic events, meaningful coincidences that seem to support their goals and development. Here's why this works. By developing new capabilities and experiences in dreams, you're literally building the neural pathways that support these capabilities in waking life. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly experienced dreams and actual experiences when it comes to building competence and confidence. But the transformation goes even deeper than personal development. When you start working consciously with dreams, you begin to experience yourself as part of the larger consciousness field we discussed earlier. You realize that your individual development is inseparable from the evolution of consciousness itself. This recognition brings with it a sense of purpose and meaning that transcends personal satisfaction. You begin to understand that your life has cosmic significance, that your growth, healing, and creative expression contribute to the awakening of consciousness throughout the universe. Dr. Teilhard de Chardin's concept of the noosphere, the sphere of human consciousness that encircles the planet, provides a framework for understanding this responsibility. Every time you expand your consciousness through dream work, you're contributing to the expansion of the planetary mind itself. Now we arrive at the ultimate application of everything we've discussed, using your understanding of dreams and consciousness to become a conscious creator of your reality rather than a passive experiencer of random events. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This is about working with the fundamental mechanisms by which consciousness creates experience. Dr. Fred Alan Wolf's research into quantum consciousness suggests that consciousness doesn't just observe reality. It actively participates in creating it through what physicists call the observer effect. Your consciousness literally influences the quantum field of possibilities, determining which potential realities become actual experiences. Here's the mind-bending connection to dreams. The same consciousness, mechanisms that create your dream experiences are involved in creating your waking experiences. The difference is that in dreams, you're working with pure consciousness without the constraint of external sensory input. This makes dreams the perfect training ground for conscious reality creation. Think of it like this. Dreams are your consciousness operating in creative mode without external limitations. When you become lucid in dreams and start consciously directing your experiences, you're developing the same capabilities that allow for conscious influence over waking reality. Dr. Stephen Laberge's advanced lucid dreaming research showed that experienced lucid dreamers can maintain conscious awareness while allowing unconscious creative processes to unfold. They learn to balance conscious intention with unconscious wisdom, the same balance required for effective reality creation in waking life. Here's a practical technique that synthesizes everything. Start each day by reviewing your dreams from the night before, looking for symbols, themes, or experiences that relate to your current life situations. Then spend a few minutes visualizing how you want your day to unfold, using the same vivid, emotionally engaged approach you use for dream programming. The key insight is that both processes, dream recall and conscious visualization, engage the same reality creation mechanisms in your consciousness. By practicing both consistently, you develop greater fluency in working with these mechanisms. But here's where it gets truly advanced. Dr. Russell Targ's research into precognitive dreams showed that consciousness can access information about probable future events. Your dreams sometimes show you potential timelines based on current patterns and trajectories. By paying attention to these precognitive elements, you can consciously choose which potential futures to move toward. This means your dreams can serve as a guidance system for navigating toward your preferred reality. When you dream about positive future scenarios, you can take actions in waking life to support the manifestation of those potentials. When you dream about challenging possibilities, you can make changes to prevent those outcomes. Here's a technique called timeline shifting that advanced practitioners use. When you become lucid in a dream, consciously explore different versions of your life by asking questions like, what would my life look like if I made this decision instead? Or, show me the timeline where I'm living my highest potential. The dream scenarios you experience often provide guidance about real choices and possibilities available to you. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research into the neuroscience of change supports this approach. He found that people who regularly visualize and emotionally experience their desired futures create the neural patterns that naturally lead to behaviors and choices that manifest those futures. Dreams provide an ideal environment for this type of future self-rehearsal. But the most powerful reality creation happens when you align your personal desires with larger purposes and principles. Dr. David Hawkins's research into consciousness levels showed that intentions aligned with service, love, and truth have much greater manifestation power than purely self-centered desires. This is why the dream work we've discussed throughout this video is so powerful. It naturally connects you with larger purposes and deeper wisdom. When your reality creation emerges from this expanded awareness, it tends to unfold with less effort and more synchronistic support. Here's the ultimate technique. Program dreams where you're living as your highest potential self, serving your deepest purpose, and contributing to the evolution of consciousness. Don't just dream about getting what you want. Dream about becoming who you're meant to be and offering what you're here to give. These types of dreams create what Dr. Carl Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your authentic self while simultaneously serving the collective good. This is the highest form of reality creation because it aligns your personal development with universal evolutionary principles. As we near the conclusion of our journey, it's time to zoom out to the ultimate perspective. What does your understanding of dreams and consciousness mean for your place in the cosmos itself? How does your individual dream work connect to the evolution of consciousness throughout the universe? Dr. Stuart Kovman's research into complexity theory and emergence suggests that consciousness might not be limited to biological systems. Complex information processing networks, whether biological, technological, or cosmic, might all possess some form of awareness. From this perspective, your consciousness isn't separate from universal consciousness. It's a localized expression of it. This means that your dreams aren't just personal experiences happening inside your individual brain. They're expressions of universal consciousness, exploring itself through your particular perspective and circumstances. When you dream, the universe is literally dreaming through you, exploring possibilities and potentials that can only be experienced from your unique point of view. Dr. Ervin Laszlo's concept of the Akashic field provides another framework for understanding this cosmic connection. He suggests that all consciousness experiences are recorded in a universal information field that transcends space and time. Your dreams might be ways of accessing this cosmic library of all possible experiences and knowledge. Here's a perspective that will change everything. What if the purpose of individual consciousness isn't just personal survival and happiness, but cosmic evolution itself? What if consciousness is the universe's way of knowing itself, and your dreams are part of that cosmic self-discovery process? From this perspective, every dream you have contributes to the universe's understanding of itself. Every fear you overcome in a dream expands cosmic courage. Every act of love you perform in a dream increases universal compassion. Every creative breakthrough you achieve in a dream adds to cosmic creativity. Dr. Brian Swim's work in cosmological evolution suggests that we're living during the most crucial period in cosmic history, the moment when the universe becomes conscious of itself through evolved beings like humans. Your dream work is literally participation in cosmic awakening. This understanding brings with it both profound responsibility and incredible empowerment. You're not just improving your personal life through dream work. You're participating in the universe's evolution toward greater consciousness, love, and creative expression. Here's how this cosmic perspective transforms your approach to dream work. Instead of using dreams primarily for personal problem-solving or wish fulfillment, you begin to see them as opportunities for cosmic service. You ask questions like, how can I contribute to the healing of the world? Or, what does the universe want to express through me? Dreams approached from this perspective often provide insights and guidance that transcend personal concerns. You might receive visions of new technologies that could help solve global problems, or experience profound healing energies that you can learn to share with others, or connect with wisdom that helps you serve as a bridge between different cultures or perspectives. Dr. Zhang Houston's research into human potential suggests that we're capable of what she calls intelligy, actualizing potentials that serve not just individual development, but species evolution. Your dreams can be portals to these evolutionary potentials. But here's the paradox. The more you focus on serving cosmic evolution through your dream work, the more your personal life tends to flourish. When you align with universal purposes, you naturally receive the support and resources needed to fulfill your individual potential as well. This happens because individual and universal consciousness are not separate. They're different scales of the same phenomenon. When you serve universal consciousness, you're serving the deepest levels of your own being. When you contribute to cosmic evolution, you're fulfilling your most authentic purpose. We've reached another crucial decision point. Everything we've explored has led to this moment where theoretical understanding must transform into lived commitment. Because here's the truth. You cannot unknow what you now know about the nature of consciousness, dreams, and reality. You now understand that you're not a separate individual having private dream experiences. You're a localized expression of universal consciousness participating in cosmic evolution through your dream work and conscious development. This understanding comes with profound implications for how you live your life. The question is, will you step fully into this understanding and begin living as the cosmic being you actually are? Or will you try to return to the smaller, safer identity of someone who just happens to have interesting dreams sometimes? Because what comes next will give you practical tools for integrating everything we've discussed into a daily practice that will transform not just your personal life, but your contribution to the evolution of consciousness itself. This isn't just about becoming more successful or happy. This is about fulfilling your cosmic purpose. If you're ready for that level of responsibility and empowerment, stay with me for the final sections where we'll integrate everything into a practical framework you can begin using tonight. If you need time to process what you've already learned, this would be a natural stopping point. For those ready to take the final step into cosmic consciousness mastery, let's explore how to create a life where your dreams and waking reality become seamlessly integrated expressions of your highest potential. Now we reach the ultimate integration, learning to live as unified consciousness, where the boundaries between dreaming and waking, individual and universal, personal and cosmic, dissolve into seamless flow. This isn't about having peak experiences occasionally. This is about restructuring your entire approach to life. Dr. Ken Wilber's integral theory provides a framework for understanding the stages of consciousness development. Most people operate from what he calls mythic or rational levels of consciousness. But the dream work we've been exploring develops what he calls integral and transpersonal levels, where you experience yourself as both individual and universal simultaneously. Here's what daily life looks like when you operate from this integrated level. You wake up each morning and immediately review your dreams, not just as personal messages, but as communications from universal consciousness about what's needed in the world that day. Your dreams become guidance for how to show up as your highest self in service to collective evolution. Throughout the day, You maintain what Dr. Charles Tart calls continuous lucid awareness, the recognition that your waking experience is also a form of consciousness created, reality that you can influence through the same awareness you've developed in lucid dreams. You approach challenges, relationships, and opportunities with the same creative flexibility you've learned to use in dreams. Think of it this way. Instead of switching between a dream self and a waking self, you become a unified conscious being who expresses differently in different states but maintains the same essential awareness and capabilities throughout. The skills you develop in dreams, creativity, courage, love, wisdom, become your natural way of being in all circumstances. Here's a practical daily structure that integrates everything we've discussed. Upon waking, immediately record your dreams and look for both personal guidance and universal themes. Ask yourself, what is consciousness trying to understand or heal through these experiences? And how can I serve this larger purpose today? Throughout the day, practice what Dr. Stephen LeBerg calls reality checks, moments where you pause and ask, what if this is a dream? How would I respond differently if I knew I was dreaming? This maintains the flexible, creative awareness you've developed through lucid dreaming. Before sleep, spend time programming your dreams not just for personal development, but for receiving guidance about how to serve the evolution of consciousness. You might ask for dreams about healing the planet, bringing people together, or developing new solutions to global challenges. Once a week, review how your dream insights have influenced your waking life and how your waking experiences have enriched your dream work. Look for the larger patterns and themes that are emerging in your consciousness development. Once a month, take a broader view of how your personal development through dream work is contributing to collective consciousness evolution. Ask yourself, how am I serving the awakening of consciousness in the world? And what new capacities is the universe wanting to develop through me? But here's the most important practice. Dr. Richard Moss's research into presence and awakening showed that the key to living as unified consciousness is learning to be fully present in each moment, while simultaneously maintaining awareness of your connection to the larger field of consciousness. This means that whether you're washing dishes, having a conversation, or solving a work problem, you maintain awareness that consciousness is exploring itself through this experience. You're simultaneously the individual having the experience and the universal consciousness expressing through the individual. This dual awareness transforms everything. Your personal challenges become opportunities for consciousness to learn about overcoming obstacles. Your relationships become experiments in how individual expressions of consciousness can support each other's evolution. Your creative work becomes ways for universal consciousness to express new possibilities through your unique perspective. Dr. Andrew Harvey's concept of sacred activism describes this integration perfectly. Living as a spiritual being engaged in transforming the world rather than choosing between personal development and social service. Your dream work becomes a form of service to planetary healing and consciousness evolution. Here's what this looks like practically. You might dream about healing environmental damage and wake up inspired to support renewable energy projects. You might dream about bridging cultural divisions and find yourself naturally bringing together people from different backgrounds. You might dream about new educational approaches and discover yourself developing programs that help other people awaken to their potential. The key insight is that there's no separation between personal development and service to the world. When you're living as unified consciousness, your personal growth automatically serves collective evolution, and your service to the world naturally supports your individual development. We arrive now at the ultimate revelation that recontextualizes everything we've explored. What if the entire purpose of the universe is to evolve consciousness to the point where it becomes fully aware of itself as creative source? And what if your dreams are one of the primary mechanisms by which this cosmic awakening is occurring? Dr. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin proposed that the universe is evolving toward what he called the omega point, a state of maximum consciousness and complexity. From this perspective, your individual consciousness development isn't separate from cosmic evolution. It is cosmic evolution happening through you. Here's the mind-bending implication. Every time you become lucid in a dream, the universe becomes more lucid about its own nature. Every time you overcome fear in a dream, the universe develops greater courage. Every time you express love in a dream, cosmic consciousness becomes more loving. Your personal development is literally cosmic development. But it goes even deeper. Dr. Stuart Kaufman's research into emergence suggests that consciousness might be the universe's way of transcending physical limitations. Through conscious beings like humans, the universe can explore possibilities that don't exist in purely physical reality, including all the impossible scenarios you experience in dreams. Think about it. In dreams, you can violate physical laws, travel through time, communicate telepathically, and experience realities that don't exist anywhere in the physical universe. But these experiences are real from a consciousness perspective. They actually happen in the field of awareness, even if they don't manifest physically. This means that your dreams might be the universe's way of exploring its own infinite creative potential beyond the constraints of physical manifestation. Every dream you have expands the universe's understanding of what's possible in the realm of consciousness. Dr. David Chalmers' work on the hard problem of consciousness suggests that consciousness might be a fundamental property of reality, rather than something that emerges from complex matter. If this is true, then consciousness doesn't just observe the universe. Consciousness is the universe, and the universe is exploring itself through conscious experiences like dreams. From this perspective, the universe is essentially dreaming itself into existence, and your individual dreams are part of that cosmic dreaming process. When you dream, you're not just a person having a dream. You're the universe dreaming through the lens of your particular perspective and experience. Here's the ultimate empowerment this brings. You're not a separate individual trying to figure out your place in a vast, unconscious universe. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself through your particular expression of awareness. Your dreams, your growth, your service, your love, all of it is cosmic self-discovery and self-creation. This understanding transforms every aspect of how you relate to yourself and your life. Your struggles become the universe, learning how to overcome challenges. Your relationships become experiments in how consciousness can love itself more fully. Your creative expression becomes the universe exploring new forms of beauty and meaning. Your dreams become sacred communications from the cosmic mind to itself, using your individual perspective as a unique lens for understanding and developing new aspects of universal consciousness. Every dream is a gift from the cosmos to the cosmos, transmitted through your awareness. But here's the responsibility this understanding brings. If you are the universe becoming conscious of itself, then how you develop your consciousness directly impacts the development of universal consciousness. Your growth matters not just for you, but for the evolution of reality itself. This is why the dream work we've explored throughout this video is so crucial. It's not just personal development, it's participation in the most important project in existence, the universe's awakening to its own true nature as conscious, creative, loving source. When you work with your dreams consciously, when you develop lucid awareness, when you use your dream experiences for healing and growth, you're literally helping the universe become more conscious, more creative, more loving. You're participating in cosmic evolution at the deepest level possible. Everything we've explored leads to this moment of choice. Will you accept your role as a conscious participant in the universe's awakening to itself? Will you commit to using your dreams and your consciousness development as service to the evolution of reality itself? Because here's what's at stake. We're living at a crucial moment in cosmic history.